Greetings, dear viewer. Thank you so much for joining us on yet another episode on Women Engage. My name is Effie Joanna Tieno, and today we are going to talk about money. Yes, a topic that I know most of you avoid for one reason or the other. But we are going to talk about money, and ultimately all of us just want financial freedom. So we have women here who will be telling us, as fellow women, how we can achieve this, how to stop our bad spending habits, because how that affects our long-term finances, going into bad debt and all of that. And these are experts in their field, and therefore they have a right to stand here and talk to us about money. So thank you so much for coming on set. I'll just give you a chance to introduce yourselves to the audience, and then we can go right in with the program. So I'll start with you, Eunice.
My name is Eunice Orego. I'm an ex-banker, but I had to venture into business, what I love. Yeah, and thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much, Eunice. Yes, Egla.
Yes, my name is Egla. I'm Pesa Okodoi, Chief Accountant at Adventist University of Africa. I studied, I have a degree in finance and also accounting, that is CPAK. We are people of few words.
And then there's me. It's okay. But as long as people with few words always have the most wisdom to impact. So we appreciate that. So thank you so much for coming on set, taking your time to be here. I know that's not easy. And we appreciate the fact that we were able to just get you to come here today. So we want to just go right into the conversation. There's a lot of people actually shy away from talking about money, be it individually thinking about their spending and trying to analyze their spending vis-a-vis their earnings, or even couples. A lot of people shy away from conversations about money, and I want us to be candid with them. You know, we want their lives to be better, and their lives can be better if they have better management of their money. So we can just start with number one, financial responsibility. How do we ensure that as women especially, we are financially responsible with whatever we earn, whatever our spouses give to us to run the home, and things that, not my spouse, I don't have one. Yes, so how do we ensure we have financial responsibility? I'll start with you, Egla.
Okay, as women, we really need to be financially responsible. Most of the houses, they normally depend on women. And as women, we need to at least have a saving which will take a family for some while. Because I don't know whether it is in my family alone or other families, but when a man says that I don't have money, he doesn't have. And you might sleep hungry without money. So as a woman, you need to know how to be responsible and to make sure your family doesn't go hungry.
Amen. Actually, women are the ones responsible for money for rainy days. That should be our role. Yes, Eunice.
I think financial responsibility in a broader aspect, I think it's just the way you are able to manage your money, be it in terms of cost vis-a-vis your income. Right. So if you really want that money to work for you, basically, you know, if you are employed, you know what you're expecting to get at the end of the month. And if you're in business, at least you can be able to get an average of what you can plan for. So the main thing that us women can really have to avoid that impulse buying and spending, because we all like good things as women. So I'll really advise that we have a budget where you know the essential things that you need to have. So once you are done with the budget, then you can be able to know this is what is remaining. Maybe it's your spouse who will give you the money. And you know, when you ask them, most of them do not go into the nitty-gritties of how much do you want, or how much food costs do you want. So maybe they'll just give you money. So it's up to you to manage this money well, to be able to know that at the end of the day, I have bought everything that is required, maybe in my household, and maybe I can have something, just a little for saving, because it is very good to save, and it has to start early, so that at least on those rainy days where your husband will tell you, I don't have money, you know, somewhere you have something.
Money. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is just the way you can be able to balance your cost, your expenses, vis-a-vis what is coming into your pocket.
Lovely.
Yeah.
As you're speaking, there's something that was coming to my mind. I remember watching some YouTube channel. I think she just teaches financial management, and she said a lot of people have poverty mentality when it comes to money, and this happens two ways. Number one, you grew up lacking, so because you don't want to lack, you end up spending on things you don't need because you didn't have them as a child.
Yes.
I want to buy a bike I don't know how to ride a bike. Why do I need to buy a bike at this age? Because I simply did not have it. I want to give myself the luxury of having it now. Or on the flip side, it's I did not have it. I do not want to go back there. So you live a very frugal life. It's too bad to the extreme. You can't even get yourself a nice dress. You're just out here looking haggard because you want to keep the money in your bank so your bank doesn't run dry. How would you advise us to go about wise money management? That is wise management, because I think when you're on both extremes, it's bad. So how do we put ourselves in the middle so we avoid, number one, too much spending on things that are not necessary, or impulse shopping, as most women do? I mean, I am a victim of that. And also, how do we avoid going on the borderline extreme of now you're not even spending on anything completely on yourself? You can't even buy yourself a nice dress or a nice pair of shoes. How do we get to this middle point, a very delicate balance? I'll start with you.
I think the best thing to do is to have a budget, as my sister has just indicated. Have a budget. And if you have your children, please sit down with your children, with your spouse, you budget together. So you bring, your spouse comes with this money and I also come with mine, and we involve our children, because most of the children think that we are rich. We cannot be broke. So you will find that they want us to buy things which are not supposed even to be bought. But when you budget with your children, you say, this is the money we have, now we have 100,000 for the whole month. For that 100,000 you budget, maybe you find that you will be spending, let's say, for example, including school fees and everything, maybe you come to, like, for example, 80,000. So if 20,000 will remain, so you will ask them, now in this 20,000, we need to save 10,000 for the rainy day. We have 10,000. How are we going to spend it? But you make sure as a parent, your children go to school. They have a nice clothing
and food,
and there is basic need, that is food, shelter. At least you can cater for that. But we should not go to the other extreme and the other one, because we normally become broke because of being extravagant.
True.
Yes, when you decide being extravagant, that is now where the problem will start from.
Wow. Yes. How about you?
I will concur with my sister. It's good to sit down, budget for whatever that has come into your household. If your spouse and yourself are working, that is an advantage. But sometimes you find it's only one person who is working. But again, still, when you sit down and budget, it will still be enough. So what I normally say is that times, life is for the living. And there are things that you really want to do, even with the family. There is that aspect that is called leisure. But some things are just important. For bonding, it's important. And you see, for you to have that time even for bonding, even if it is outside where the community where you're residing in, that means that you have to have planned for it. So I'd say sometimes you just, once you have an overview of what you have, when you're starting to budget, you put a percentage. I will want to do, for example, 30%. This is, I know it is for, after doing away with all the expenses. There are some expenses that are on monthly basis. That is like rent. Maybe school fees, you might want to be paying monthly. So there are things that are on monthly basis. Those ones, after you remove them, then you say, this 30% of what I've remained with, I want to put it into saving. That is maybe for those rainy days. And this maybe 20%. This is my accumulation. I want to accumulate it for leisure, Yeah, at least I will have time with my family. So once you have all those things broken down, it will be easier for you to manage whatever that you have. It will be very easy. And like you will know, you can also allocate money whereby it is just for spending. You know, sometimes we also have these relatives. They will want to rely upon you for help here and there. But you have to have apportioned some amount so that it doesn't catch you unawares. And then you have to dig into the money that you had allocated for something that is for the family. So if you have those things that you have put down in place, when you follow them, then I think your money management will be very effective.
I actually like that, because one thing I'm getting to learn as an adult now is that a lot of the unnecessary expenses we have is because we don't budget properly. And budgeting should involve every aspect. You know, most of us just budget for the essentials, and then we put everything else as miscellaneous. What is miscellaneous?
Even this impulse, you have to at least apportion something for it, like, so that you go there, you get something. Sometimes when you buy things impulsively, you get the best things. Sometimes you can get an offer. What do? You just want to grab that thing that you have been eyeing for long. You have been desiring. Because when you come, the next time it is not going to be there. So you have to like apportion something. At least when you go there, that is what you can use. But it will not affect your budget at the end of it.
I really love that, because I remember one time I was, you know how you just hang out with your friends, you've missed each other. And I called her and we're like, can we hang out? And she said, sadly, I won't be able to make it today. And I asked why. And she said, my spending budget for the month is finished. My goodness, that was very impressive. Like you had a budget for eating outside, and it's over, and now you'd rather stay inside.
So and you need to befriend that person.
I did.
And learn from her.
I did. I did. And I think it's very important. Now, when it comes to savings and earning and budgeting, some people would argue on one end that I don't have a savings problem, I can save. I have an income problem. And I think we've had that a lot, even from our president, Honorable William Ruto, some time back. A lot of Kenyans earn below minimum wage. How then do we develop a culture of spending while also ensuring we diversify our sources of income, so that we are not strained and we constantly have I can't save because I do not make enough? How do we ensure that we build the culture of saving and also try as much as possible to build enough, what we consider enough for ourselves? Yes.
So before I answer that question, what we were supposed to say first is that when you bring this money at that table or on the table, God first.
True.
God first. Make sure you give your tithe and offering. For example, I was giving an example of 100,000. We are supposed to give a tithe of 10%. And what we are being taught at church is you give an offering of 10% plus. So you can decide maybe to have an offering of also 10%. So set aside the 20,000 from the 100,000. Let that one be for God. Then you budget for the 80,000. Now you asked about this class of people, others earn more and others earn less. I think it depends with an individual. You might find two people. One person is earning 20,000 and another one is earning 100,000. But the 20,000 person is thriving in life. Unlike this person who is earning 100,000. So it is just an individual to decide. You might be earning less, but you are able to save. And one of the savings which I can encourage people to have, especially if you cannot save in the bank because your money will just be lying in the bank, you can save with the SACCO. Just have your money at the SACCO, so that when you want to buy something like, for example, a land, or you want to build, you can go to that SACCO, you just borrow a loan, then you do your own things. But make sure you do that with your family. You tell them, now I'm taking a loan. And the deduction for this loan will be, for example, maybe 10,000 per month. Now our income is going down by 10,000. But remember, after I've cleared this loan, we are going to reap in future.
Yeah.
Don't take a loan, then you start buying clothes, impressing people. If you start doing that is when you are going to be broke.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, that is good. That is good. It's true. So once somebody gets their money, it's good. If you are employed, at least you know at the end of the month each time what you're getting. So I always advocate, after you remove the 10%, start with the amount that you're saving, that you want to put into the saving. So if you develop that culture whereby I know 10% or 20% of the amount that I am getting is into saving. And then the other thing that I need to say, if you are, you know you have to tithe, which is a command from God, yes. We have to tithe. And that is what is written in the Bible. So basically, that is a rule. It's a law that we have to tithe. So I'll advocate for people, if you can be able to even do something called a standing order, whereby you don't really get to see that money.
It goes straight
once
to the
it
church.
Hits your account in the bank, it goes straight to the account. And also for the saving. Once it hits your account, put a standing order. It goes, it can be on various platforms. Your savings, money market, the way she has talked about, Sacco. Yeah, it can be in insurance. It depending. And you also have to have a goal. What are you saving for? So that at least that one provokes you and prompts you on what you need to be saving monthly. So especially for young people, because life at 25 is not the same as life at 35. It's not the same. So once you start early cultivating that culture of savings, you are able to save. But if you don't expect once you get a million, is when you can start saving. You need to start even with the 5,000 that you are getting as income. You need to start with the 5,000 so that you just develop that culture. Once you develop it, it's easier. So once you even get a million, what you need to do is just raise your bar high, on your savings.
I actually think when it comes to money, the methali haba na haba hujaza kibaba, that actually makes so much sense, because if you look at even savings with like money market fund or SACCOs, it is purely the power of compounding. That little money, a little here, a little there, a little, it's what in the next 10 years you reap, and it's a lot of money. You can pay your child's fee in university one-off from first year to fourth year without thinking twice.
And I also like the way women, sometimes we have these two small chamas, these small chamas where they do like merry-go-round, something like that, or rather they just buy foodstuffs, and then this month is for somebody, and that one helps a lot, because if you are budgeting money for household stuffs, at least this money you can put it into something very useful. You can do it for savings, or you can now up your fun account, and it goes like that, which is very
so
good.
the message from this segment actually is, no matter how little you earn, try and save, so that when you earn more, you're able to then save more.
You already have that culture in you.
Thank you. And you can't build that culture from nothing. You can't just wake up because now, boom, I earn 500,000, I can save. If you can't save when you earn 20,000, it will be even difficult to save when you earn 500,000. Because
I'm starting employment now. Maybe I'm 21 years old. What is my vision? 20 years to come. The next, hey, what do I want to be? If I want to be to have that financial freedom, then I need to have started it at that 21. However little it is. Yes.
Now, you know, we might be talking about savings and earning, and people are looking at you like, these are rich people.
No.
I want you to just be real with our audience. How do you deal with broke days as a woman? That's the first question. And the second question, is it okay to be stingy as a woman? You know, stingy, you know, the no kind of moms. And of course, being a mother, you know, sometimes you don't have to say no to your children. They just have cute faces. You can't say no to them. But you have to know when to say no to that purchase they want, and when not to say no. So how do you deal with being broke, and also ensuring that you are financially aware when there are children involved? Because sometimes they can be, you know, they can push a little hard, and you just fall in because of your love as their mother. Let me start with you, Egla, once again.
Okay, I'm speaking as Egla. You started with saving. So for saving, I remember after my fourth form, many years ago, there were no banks, and for you to open a bank account, you needed, some banks needed 10,000 deposit, 5,000. I don't know, maybe you people were born just the other day. But I remember my mom was telling me to save with Posta, Post Bank. So after my 4th form, I could till land with her. And the little I got, that is what I was saving. And when I went to college, I was not asking for textbooks money. I was just getting it from that account. Because I'm the firstborn and there were others behind me. So they had to pay school fees for my siblings. So I had to at least buy my personal things from my money, my textbooks, all that, without involving my parents. So you have asked about dealing with the broke days. One of the things you need to know, when you are broke, accept that you are broke. And sit down with your family.
Wow.
Tell them, now we don't have any money. Let them know. So that they don't come and say, Mommy, we want this, we want that. Just tell them, we are broke. Whatever I'll bring at the table, let us eat it. Your children should know. But if you are used to maybe giving them money, they know that, Mommy, I want pizza. You want to please your children because they are cute. You will cry in future. Let me tell you. When they'll be teenagers and youths, they'll be coming back to you knowing that you have money. Mom, give us money. But I think as a parent, what you need to teach your children is to tell them there are times you can have money, there are times you cannot have money. So that one will solve your problem of being broke. And another thing you do is to accept that for sure I'm broke. Look for ways of how you will be able to maybe deal with that brokenness if it is for a short period of time. Because some people are employed, we only wait for the month end so that we may be able to earn. But others are business people and they know how the businesses are. Maybe it is thriving in the first 2 months, then the other 2 weeks, the other 2 weeks you are broke. So we need to know how we are dealing with that money. So when you are broke, let your family members know that we don't have money, and you just use what you have. And as we had started explaining before, that culture of saving, when you are broke, go to that pot.
Oh, yeah.
And it will save you. Because most of the time, and I normally advise people whom I normally talk to, at least save something like 3 to 6 months of your fixed expenses. For example, rent. You know, rent, you must pay it. You must pay electricity bill, water bill. Have at least a saving of at least 3 to 6 months, so that in case maybe you are sacked, within those 3 months you are able to pay rent as you wait for another opportunity to come. 3 to 6 months. If an opportunity cannot come within the 3 months, you had saved for 6 months, it will give you that chance of knowing what shall I do for me to be able to continue with my life without affecting the education of my children, without affecting them while maybe you are unable to buy food. And on being stingy, there is a verse in the Bible. Maybe people did not know.
Tell us.
That is in Proverbs chapter 23, verse 6 to 8. What I can say, being stingy is someone who is not generous, or the person who is unwilling to share. That is a stingy person. And as Christians and even the world, I don't think they encourage people to be stingy. So Proverbs chapter 23, verse 6 to 8 says that in the New Living Translation, don't eat with the people who are stingy. Proverbs 23, 6 to 8. Don't eat with the people who are stingy. Don't desire their delicacies. And it continues saying, they are always thinking about how much it costs. You can imagine you are taking a cup of juice there and someone is thinking about the cost they spend. Yes. They say, but they don't mean it. You will throw up what little you have eaten and your compliments will be wasted. So for me, what I can say, we should not be stingy.
Amen. Preach, Mom. Eunice, now even as you close this fast, because I see our time is already running out, just to that woman out there who's listening, you can also answer the same question. And of course, now we know it's not good to be stingy. Yes.
It's not good to be stingy, yes. But at times in this society, people will take advantage of you. If you have a good heart, if you are that person that gives and gives, the Bible says, yeah, give and it shall come back to you. Right? In good measure, press down, shaken together. And it will, your barns will overflow, yes. But sometimes the society that we live in, people will want to take advantage. Because they know if I go to this person, they will surely not be able to refuse my request. So I'll just, sometimes I just say you need to have that discerning spirit. You can be able to tell if somebody is telling the truth or not. If that person is really in need.
Learn to give people from your saucer, not from your cup. Because if you do that, your cup runs over, and that surplus is what you're able to give out. But if your cup is not full, you can't give. So you have to make sure your needs are met, your children are taken care of, your partners are taken care of, your home is sorted. Then you have at least a surplus to give to other people. Otherwise, this was very wise financial advice. I don't think I would give this. You cannot find this anywhere else, other than from resourceful women such as this, who've walked the shoes that some of us are going to walk in future, who've been wives, who've been mothers, and therefore they understand the need to manage money, especially from a woman's perspective and from a mother's perspective. So thank you so much once again for joining us on set. I know there's so much we haven't tackled. We need a part 2 because we need to demystify the whole negative notion about loans. We need to talk about bad debts. And I will request for a part 2 of this conversation because there's still a lot that we can talk about and a lot that we need to address when it comes to money. Otherwise, thank you so much. This is a resource I'm going to tap on in future. And for you, our audience, thank you so much for joining us. And we hope you learned a lot from this episode about wise management of your finances and about being financially woke, for lack of a better term, being financially woke as a woman and learning when to say no and feeding people from your saucer and not from your cup. That is all from us here in studio. Thank you. We hope to see you in our subsequent episodes. Be sure to check us out on all our social media platforms, that is Hope Media Network ECD, and on your television stations you can find us on Hope Channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.